What up, bitches? It's the MisanthropikOne, aka He Who Hungers, and I'm back up in this bitch for another rant/review. Today, I want to talk about this album right here, Lushlife's latest album called Plateau Vision. For those who don't know about Lushlife, he's an MC that now resides in Philadelphia. Go check out my last video I did on his album Cassette City. I deemed it a classic album, and rightfully so. To this day, I'm still bumping that shit. Like I said in the last review, it's definitely reminiscent of that mid-90s, early to mid-90s boom bap style of hip-hop. And that's like stepping right into a time machine listening to that shit. And he's back with a new addition to his catalog, Plateau Vision. He released a mixtape, a free downloadable mixtape to hold people over until this release called No More Golden Days, which is just as ill. And guys, go check it out. If I have the link for it, I'll post it up down there to go to his site and download it. I listened to that. It set me right up for this album right here. And things you must know about Lushlife: he's multi-talented, he can play different instruments, he's a producer on top of it, obviously if he's playing the instruments. So he produces a lot of his own shit, and this album is not far up from Cassette City, so let's get into this shit. As far as production goes, he produced primarily most of this album, with exceptions for a few producers on here like Botany. Who else is on here that produces for him? Mark Saddlemeyer of Brown Recluse, Big Germ, who also produced on Cassette City, and I think there might be one more, Sun Glitters. Yeah, that's about it as far as production goes. And he got a few features on here, so let's go into those. You have Styles P of D Block or The Locks. Got Andrew Cedarmark. You have STS. You have Shad, who's a Canadian MC, if I'm not mistaken. You got Heems, Cities Aviv, and Sun Glitters and Riot. Sun Glitters, right? Is that a proper? Well, Sun Glitters are the producers, but Riot is an actual feature. So you got decent amount of features here. Unfortunately, there's only 11 tracks on this album. The album goes by real quick. That's one of the things that kind of is a negative about the album, because I love Lushlife so much. Like I was expecting more. He leaves me wanting more, and that's actually a compliment. Like I want more on this shit. This album is sort of hard to break down because Lushlife kind of rhymes in that whole stream of consciousness type shit, but his subject matter basically ranges from how ill he is to a little bit of materialism, to getting money, to, you know, braggadocious type shit, little bit of gangsterism, but it's done artfully, it's done creatively. It's not done where, you know, like these simple Joe Schmoes could do it. It's done very well, and I like that about him. It's basically, it's like Cassette City. His flow is the same. It's very hypnotic. It pulls you into that golden era of rap. So again, y'all know how I feel. If it ain't broke, don't fucking fix it. And that's what I love about Lushlife. He came the same when it came to the rhymes. He didn't fucking decide to change or quote unquote branch out. And y'all know how I feel about that. If you're gonna branch out, do it little by little. Take baby steps. So thank God for that. Shout out to Lushlife for that. Production wise, I felt he sort of branched out just a tiny bit, you know. I don't want to say it's experimental, because nowadays when you say experimental, motherfuckers think of techno and electronic shit being experimental in hip hop, and that's not the case in this album. That's not the case with this album, I should say. It's more like uses, I think, some trance influences and ambient influences, but still manages to keep it boom bap at the same time. So it's a little blend there, and that's another thing. Speaking of blends, Lushlife stepped it up with the blends in the production. Like, he'll rhyme one way in a verse, and you know, he'll be rhyming over a beat, and then the beat will change up, and he did that a few times on this album, and I love that too. That shows great risk-taking ability. What's another shit I could say, another positive? The fact that Styles P is on here. When I first heard that Styles P from the Lox was gonna be on this album, I was like, wow, that's gonna be crazy to hear Styles P rhyming alongside Lushlife, and that came out pretty damn good, considering. And shout out to Styles P, by the way, because he's fucking with a lot of independent motherfuckers now. So shout out to Styles P for that. And the name of that track is called Still I Hear the World Progress, and check that shit out. Track is ill. Definitely love the production on there, especially that 8-bit sound effect like that used on Nintendo games. That shit is ill right there. But for the most part, I really fucking love this album. Negatives, not too much I could hold against this album, other than the fact, like I said, it seemed kind of short to me. But then again, Lushlife, if you look and watch any of his videos on YouTube with him playing pianos and him producing shit, he's sort of a perfectionist. So I guess he just crafted this the way he wanted to craft it, which I can appreciate. But again, you know, listening to this shit, it made me want fucking more. So 11 tracks, Lushlife just was not enough for me. You know, I'm still hungry for that shit. So what else could I say? Track 6, I don't know how to say that. Gymno Petty, I don't know how to say that. 1.2 featuring Shad. Lushlife didn't even really rhyme with Shad. Shad is a Canadian MC, and it would have been nice to hear him rhyme with Shad, but I guess Lushlife was just showing his production prowess on that track. Let me see if I'm correct on that, because like I said, he did produce he did produce most of this album on his own. So yeah, that's one of those tracks where you got a guest MC just spitting his shit, real short track. And then what else? Track 8, that guy Heems, I guess you say that's his name. his voice and his flow was kind of, I don't want to say off because he was on beat, but it kind of threw me off at first. But I guess with more listens to this shit, I guess it will kind of grow on me. But I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. It's kind of weird. But that's about it. Go out, pick this shit up. As for my rating of this album, I would give it like a 9.5, 9.75. Again, this is very reminiscent of Cassette City. Just a little bit of tweaking would have put this over the top, but still fucking strong for this fucking year. Dope listen, pick it up. I've been listening to this shit non-stop since I got it. Fucking ill album, especially if you just going for a little joyride. Pop this shit in, take you right back to '94 listening to this shit. And that's all I gotta say. Shout out Lushlife, love you my dude. And that's it. Y'all know the deal. Leave your love, leave your hate, most of all subscribe, support dope shit. That's it. Peace, bitches. I'm walking around you to feel the way.